like 40 feet up. Well, so Aaron the whole time he's like wearing his like jacket, you know.
Oh yeah.
We were on the Ravens side, so he could, he had to respect that kind of zip up.
Yeah, that is respectful.
It was fun. No, he had a blast too.
Right.
Slash, he didn't want to die.
Yeah. Baltimore, you know. So we're sitting there, and fucking. They're like, all right, like, you guys excited? This, that, and other, getting everybody all kind of like pumped up, and the camera started rolling and shit like that, and we're like yelling, screaming with like these random people that we just met, we're like, oh yeah, you guys are great, and then the fucking players come out of this fucking like this room, this door. And they're like, as close as I am.
You guys are right
almost,
there.
Yeah, dude, we're right there. And I mean, like,
you're just looking up. You're just like,
yeah, you got these big as shit.
Yeah.
And we're not small guys, so
Not at all.
That's
like,
what I'm saying. None of us are like under 6 foot at this table, and we're tiny
They're
compared to them.
monsters.
This guy is big as fuck, man. But it was, but that was a cool experience. It was funny because we, when we got finished with that, Chris is like, hey, before things kind of get backed up here, let's go over to this elevator. Let's hit this elevator real quick.
in the cut.
In the cut, he's like,
Fucking glass elevator from Willy Wonka.
Go around a sound truck and
10,000 buttons. Which one do we
If you
push?
want to view paradise.
but as we're standing down there, Tori walks by again. He's like, yo, the fuck? And I'm like, look, man, I'm just going with the flow now. You know what I mean? Like,
It's been working so far.
it starts with tickets and then it just ends with we just kept getting check.
Yeah, right. So we hit the elevator. We go upstairs to the suite floor. We get into the suite, and it's it's Flying Dog's fucking suite. So all these beautiful beers crack into what the fuck was it first?
Numero uno is what
It was the lighter drinking beer.
Oh, speaking of
the
craft
yellow
beers.
can.
There was the one that's
Is it cool?
the Ravens.
The Sunday's best.
Yes.
the Ravens beer.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hey, it's a beautiful
Sound
sound.
effects.
But we give it there. The spread's dope. The beer is fucking sick.
Oh yeah, we're gonna treat that like wine.
That's
I'm gonna
great.
rinse out the glass for a fresh beer. Now we're opening up the mint condition. Mint chocolate stout.
that's good.
Yeah.
Sorry to cut you off.
No, you're good. So we get up there, and like I said, everybody was like super inviting and all this other shit. And fucking essentially walk out onto like the balcony and look to the right, and who the fuck's there? But fucking Tori again. And I'm like, yo, dude, stop following me. So we like laugh and we joke for a little bit, but he's like, yeah, like I'm over here. The Verizon box was like right next to where we were. Yada yada. So then we're like just shooting the shit and talking. And I remember like turning around and we're being like, yo, is that fucking Tori's man? Is that fucking Tori's man? And I'm like, yeah, it's Tori's man. They're like, how do you know him? I'm like, he's a friend of mine from like high school, this, that, and other. And they're like, oh. I'm like, you want me to ask him if he can take pictures? Like, yeah. But that was like, and then he hung out and he talked to, the owner and the owner's wife and their friends. And, it was just a really cool experience, man. It was like,
That's awesome.
yeah, I was like, Flying Dog, fucking whatever. I am supporter.
Sounds very big, but humbled. You know what I mean?
Oh, very much so.
You know what I mean? It's like such a big thing, like, the whole experience, but everybody just seemed very just humbled. You know what I mean? Like, not like, hey, look at us, look what we are. You know what I
Right.
mean? It's just, everybody just
And that
in their moment. And
that moment for me reminds me of what this beer is to the market.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Got it, yeah.
Like that's like those key points, the humbling experience, just really like good quality. That's what I get. That's what I think of when I think of
big
Flying
beer,
Dog.
down to earth kind of thing.
That's it.
Yeah.
And we've
I can dig
mentioned
that.
That's cool.
we've mentioned all the positives of being in this industry, and look at what you just got to experience.
Yeah, no shit.
You know what I mean?
I
Yeah.
got to watch the Baltimore Ravens kick the shit out of the motherfucking Patriots.
Oh, why is he so?
I will have to admit,
I've got one word for the rest of the fucking show, and it's wow.
No, but it was,
We'll see you in the playoffs. God,
you don't want to go to Baltimore again, no.
definitely not. 100%. I don't want to go to Baltimore
that shit was rough.
for the game. Obviously, I want to go to Baltimore.
Yeah. But anyway, so shout out to you guys and thank you very much, and to anybody that had a hand in that, thank you very much. That was a really cool opportunity. But back on the beer.
Yeah, so I know with so many breweries out in Virginia, what are the obstacles of trying to get your beer into these restaurants?
So, where do you start with that one? I think the funnest one that I have to encounter is we're not local.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
if you pull up a bunch of Virginia breweries out on the western side of the state, and we're about the same distance, but we cross that state line. So then it's just a fun, like...
Right, yeah.
So you can just get into we have all these programs we participate that supports Virginia. We have one that's a stout we carry year round, like Pearl Necklace, where...
I carry that over at my spot, yeah.
My man, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And with that is... Every 12-ounce beer helps essentially put 10 baby oysters back in the Chesapeake Bay through the Oyster Recovery Partnership.
Oh, no shit. That's amazing.
So the dope side to that is you use that to kind of to bring the knowledge of like recycling oyster shells and stuff like that. We use 50 Rappahannock River oysters for every 100,000 barrel tank we brew. So it's kind of like a cycle, you know? You use them, that
Return
salty
the shell.
brine kind of, return the shell, recycle it and everything, and then we help put baby oysters back in the bay. So stuff like that. We had a gold lager as well, kind of like some other ones. That was a big thing this summer for all the breweries. But Underdog was ours, and that was we had a partnership with like the Chef Cycles Foundation up in DC, New York. They do the cycling for No Kid Hungry.
Oh, that's
So that's
awesome.
pretty cool. No, just other things. So we've been around 30 years next year. We've been in Maryland since 2006. Originally started in Colorado.
Yeah,
So-
I was gonna bring that up. So you guys started in Colorado.
Yep.
And moved here in 2006. Was it because of the boom in Colorado, or just the large craft beer market over there, or was there another reason that you guys moved over into Maryland?
Kind of a little of all of that, really.
Yeah.
As the story goes, so we originally started in Woody Creek, Colorado, with just the Woody Creek Tavern that turned into, a brew pub in Aspen in 1990. Started brewing in 94. And then in about 2006, we purchased Frederick Brewing Company in Frederick, and we're kind of brewing on both sides of the country. But by 2008, we had done so much there compared to what were doing out in Colorado. And as you just said,
it's a saturated
Colorado,
market.
correct.
Yeah.
So at that time, there really wasn't anything on the East Coast. So we were at a point where, do we rebuild out here? We were coming to those decisions. And we decided just to shut down the brewery in Colorado and 100% focus on the East Coast and the Mid Atlantic mainly, and just dig in our roots and dig deep.
Was it larger the tank, the bigger the fish can grow? So you guys had more room to grow out here,
Right.
opposed to
Because there really wasn't anything back then. And then we kind of dialed back a little bit. In about 2008, we were in 48 states, and we pulled back to where we're about 24 now.
Perfect.
And like 20 countries, 20 plus countries, something like that. Damn. And but we're so anchored in now in the Mid Atlantic and Northeast that we're starting to push west into Ohio. We're in Carolina, but not really big. South Carolina, just Charleston. So we're starting to push the outer limits, since our roots are deep here.
Well, that's a great place. Charleston's a great place to just be in. As far as like a foodie goes, or any kind of like beverage program or anything like that, that's a
the restaurant scene in Charleston is
that's a fantastic place to be as a craft brew. Yeah.
It's another Reyes distributor house.
Yeah, sound like a very smart group of people. From the research we did, like with Patrick Collins, like they sound very highly intelligent. Yeah. And then again, back to that conversation you had as far as the quality of life goes and the way the company goes. That was one of the big reads that I had as far as the entirety of Reyes Group, was that their goal is employee or team member satisfaction kind of thing.
Yeah, they sell our beer basically. Premium Maryland, Premium DC, Northern Virginia, here, and in Charleston. Yeah. So other places were other distributors and stuff like that. So it's pretty neat to have the relationship where we can.
Man, they're gonna buy everybody.
Yeah. It
looks like they're like, you look at their.
It's a well-oiled machine.
It is. You look at their growth and their marketing strategy, and it's like,
so look what they're
gonna
doing
buy everybody.
California, they're just chipping away.
Yeah, just buy a little piece at a time.
Yeah.
Good for them.
Yeah.
Schlitz. Who would have thought? Who would have thought Schlitz would have done that for a couple of guys? Good for them.
So.
Well, that's cool, man. So these beers that you have here, you guys definitely have a lot of variations of, different brews that you have. And your flagships right now are one we were just talking about.
See, so for y'all, I brought Truth, which is our Imperial IPA. That's our number one SKU in this market. and then the Thunder Peel, which is our hazy, which is our hottest since we launched it in May. But it's crazy. The cool thing about Flying Dog is we have about a little over almost a dozen cores that are year round, but they change for each market which ones we carry. Like we don't carry a couple down here like Gonzo Porter, Doggy Style Pale, but other places those sell well. You get up into Manhattan and like our Double Dog is one of the top brands up there. You get into DC and it's different brands, but it's all part of our core. So you have that going, so you kind of just dig into whatever works in your market and have fun with that while offering the other stuff. But then I brought a lot of this year coming up for 2020, we are going crazy with this whole year of the disobedient beer. I sent you that video. I hope you shared it with y'all. It's kind of a wild vision.
You said don't, so I didn't.
Well, I meant outside of you.
Oh, okay.
My fault.
All right. We'll watch it.
We can see it.
We're going to watch it in about
Gotcha.
20
You
minutes.
guys
Can't see that.
Sorry. Guess you'll have to wait.
Hey.
But this
Or
whole,
sign up for our email list, and when you can first see it, we'll send out a.
I like
nice
that. There you go.
That's good.
I'm in. I can
Get involved.
make the call. So with that being said, like next year we're looking, including our cores, we're going to be around like 55 and 60 beers. We're getting back to this silly.
Wow. Holy shit, man.
But it's going to be fun stuff like kind of like you had Liz and Kevin in here and them talking about it. If you're not adapting and playing,
Right.
you're going to get left behind. You can't ride that wave eventually crashes on whatever
right.
you got.
Adapt or die.
So our brewers are some of the best in the business, and to give them these shiny toys, like a couple of these beers you have here are part of our brew house rarities, which is essentially every April our employees, we do a retreat to where every employee can present a beer if you want to, or you can present 5 if you want to. And if they like the idea, they hook you up and bring the beer to life. Like this Mayamo Mole Stout is this girl Emily. She runs our QA lab, and this was her idea, and they brought it to life. And some of these other ones the same. And coming next year, I mean, there's just going to be the one. By the time this airs, right afterwards in February, we've got a brunch variety pack coming that's going to have a Bloody Mary beer, a mimosa beer, this Crunch Bob Toast Punch, which is literally like a cinnamon toast crunch beer, amazing. And we're bringing back Cujo, which is a seasonal for us, but it's cold brew coffee porter. So you're going to have fun stuff like that, Tropical Bitch. We're playing with a triple dog that's going to come in between like 16 and 18%.
Ooh.
That one hurts.
You can pour that. You can do shots of that. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
If you've ever had Double Dog, y'all had it at the Grain on Nitro, and it's just not fair. Like how smooth that beer is for what it is at 12%.
Yeah.
So to go bigger is kind of
Is it going to be nitro too?
no. That one's not. No,
I was like, Jesus.
there are going to be some Nitro that mint condition floating around the market though.
That's going to be dope.
Yeah. That's good. Actually, both. Again, stouts. You got me. And you have another mole, you said somewhere? Yeah. Cool. Well, I'm going to pop that in a little bit. I just dig the whole idea of that. Because you have like your Mexican stouts and such like that, so they've just done you guys have done a better play on that.
They're doing it the right way.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it sounds silly, but when you're brewing these beers, you get so many beers that just taste like somebody poured a syrup or a puree or something, this and that. And like we just had one that just went out. It was a hidden pickle, dill pickle, goza, and it was literally like swinging the pickle jar. But they kettle soured cucumbers and spices and beer and got the flavor. They didn't just throw pickles in it. Didn't just throw pickle juice. They did it, the right way.
Right.
And you can kind of tell that from these beers that there's not any cheating to it. So
Right. Like diacetyl.
the butterscotch.
Shout out Liz Pop. What?
She learned you that day.
Yeah, she got me. No butterscotch.
Got it.
Only in my coffee.
If anybody can do it though, Kane's
Yeah.
a beast too. So
We had some better ideas, I think.
Yeah.
there you go.
we evolved.
Yeah.
We've evolved from that idea. No, but the mole thing is cool, man. And so you have, I've heard, Mexican stouts and such like that, but to bring the idea of mole into there, I mean, because that is like a highly like big state, like as far as Mexican tradition goes,
Right.
That is a big part of their culture. So instead of just calling it a Mexican stout, you've actually done something where you bring the real culture into it.
And the cool side to that is we did a beer in the summertime. It was a mango habanero IPA called Fever Dreams.
Oh.
And literally every sip was different. You didn't know what you were going to get. Were you going to get this level of peppers or this level of
You guys
peppers?
going to do that again?
Oh,
'Cause
what?
That's like, is that maybe?
Well, it's like a beer lottery,
It
like a
was-
spice
yeah,
lottery.
it was like every
Just
sip
roll
was
the
just
dice on flavor.
If you have to chug that, you're in trouble.
Well, the first time that I met you in San Diego, we went down to Rosarita, that first day.
Yeah.
We like flew into town, and Liz is like, "Don't unpack, we're going to Mexico." We're like,